yeux, je me noie dans la vague de ton regard amoureux. Je ne veux que ton âme divagant sur ma peau, une fleur, une femme dans ton cœur, Roméo. Je ne suis que ton ombre, le souffle lancinant de nos corps dans le sombre, animé lentement. Et la nuit, je pleure des larmes qui coulent le long de mes joues. Je ne pense à toi que quand le jour sombre, que s'abattent sur moi mes tristes démons. Dans l'abîme sans fond, aime-moi jusqu'à ce que les roses fanent, que nos âmes sombrent dans les limbes profondes. Et la nuit, quand tout est sombre, je te regarde danser. Je résonne en baiser le long de ta poitrine, perdu dans l'avalanche de mon cœur égaré. Qui es-tu? Où es-tu? Par les pleurs, par les rires de ton ombre effarée. Je résonne en baiser. Dans mon esprit tout divague, je me perds dans tes yeux. Je me noie dans la vague de ton regard amoureux. Je ne veux que ton âme divagant sur ma peau, une fleur, une femme dans ton cœur, Roméo. Je ne suis que ton ombre, le souffle lancinant de nos corps dans le sombre, animé lentement. Et la nuit.
Welcome. We are back another day in the market. How's everybody doing? What's up, AK Frank, Silent Dawn, and Clovis in the chat. Quick update stream tonight. Pretty much just going to be short and to the point. Nothing crazy happened today, but I still wanted to go live just to talk about what's going on potentially going into tomorrow. Bitcoin's pretty much the same. Ethereum's pretty much the same, just went a little bit lower. So no major updates for crypto. The US 10-year got a slight doji candle after the shooting star candle on Wednesday. Still looks pretty bearish to me, at least just for a pullback. Same thing for the US 10-year, lowest candle close since the middle of September, kind of like a double top here at resistance with that bearish engulfing candle. Under 5.11%, this still looks bearish to me. TLT looks a little bit different to me. It's now had 2 inside days, and for the first time in a while, it's just going sideways instead of straight down. And then on the weekly, There's a decent amount of volume coming in over here. I think the highest volume ever actually has come in around these lows. It is a falling knife right now, so who knows if it falls to 83 first and then bounces, but I think it could make some sense to at least see like a dead cat bounce in this one. Next up, the VIX. Not much today, went a little bit higher in the morning, but it's back above this. You see this green zone at the bottom of this range is back above that level. All right, so I just wanted to talk about the fact that you have to keep an eye on this 200-day moving average. It hasn't been above that since March. It's the only time since March you're above and holding above the 200-day moving average, at least for right now. So that's another thing I wanted to talk about. To look at the dollar currency index, you sold off a little bit more. You're getting close to another trend line test here, and the classic bearish divergence is confirmed on the daily. We also have the Hang Seng Index, which is gapped up. It's up 2%. Maybe a little bit of relief for Chinese stocks in the market tomorrow. You've got the classic bullish divergence on the daily. You're in a larger wedge over here. If we go into the 4-hour chart, you're also currently testing the breakout of this wedge. So maybe it's time for some Chinese stocks to start bouncing a little bit. We shall see. Gold, 3 doji candles in a row pretty much after quite literally dumping 5% in 2 weeks, which is a very intense move for a somewhat stable asset like gold. It's happened before. You know, we have this 4%, 5% decline over here. We have this one over here. Typically, when you get such a large, quick move down on gold, you do get a bounce from that. It usually doesn't just keep going straight down like this unless we're going to see some sort of crazy economic event in the next couple of weeks. Who knows in this world? But yeah, maybe it does start to get a little bit of relief here after holding 1820 for a few days. Just a little bit of a bounce, we shall see. All right, and that's it for the other markets. Nothing crazy today. Let's head straight into stocks and just give quick updates. It's just going to be a quick review stream. All right, on the daily time frame, pretty much the second inside day in a row. We've lost a lot of that volatility we've seen in the past few weeks. So far this week, not a lot of movement in the market. Classic bullish divergence is still developing. Most of the things that I said on last night's stream are still the same exact. I mean, you had a completely flat day to close on the SPY. So if you want a more in-depth view on how the SPY is looking, go rewatch last night's stream. Okay, I'm not going to re-say all the things I said last night. There's just no point in it. So what I'm going to focus on instead is more of the lower time frames in the daily. All right, on the 4-hour, the SPY did break out of this wedge, and you also got a bullish engulfing candle on the 4-hour. If you go over to the 1-hour chart, you can see that you put in a small intraday double top at 425.37. So that was your session high today. That's the key level for tomorrow. You can see I have an alert set up literally right above that. If it breaks above it, you can get above the place where you topped out twice between Wednesday and Thursday. You might see a rally. The next level I have on the 1-hour chart after that is 426, which matches some low from June. And if we go down to even lower time frames, let's take a look at the structure over here. Okay, what you pretty much got at the end of the day on the SPY was this triangle breakout. All right, you had this triangle, it broke out of it, and that's what you're currently testing right now. You closed right at this 424.49 level, and that was actually lows from October 2nd. So you closed right at that. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, my DoorDash order got canceled. All right. Apologies for that. I wanted a protein smoothie, I guess not right now, maybe after stream. So you're back testing this triangle breakout over here on the 15-minute. This is what I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on tomorrow. Basically the move I'm hoping for. I mean, if you really want to even go down to like the 5-minute time frame, there's kind of like a look to a cup and handle here. It sucks that this bear flag really did not play out that much, unfortunately. was a pretty solid pattern. It just didn't do much. But what we've got on the 5 minute heading into tomorrow, and this is why I would hope for futures to stay flat going into the open, is this cup and handle over here. So we've got a little bit of a 5 minute cup and handle. It doesn't mean anything unless we got a flat open. And yeah, if you can hold this handle, which on the 15 minute is pretty much the back test of this triangle, and then eventually get a break above this level right over here. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit of a zone actually. And then break above this zone, then it could be a pretty interesting setup going into tomorrow. And the next big level I see over here on the 5 minute is a gap fill just under 427. So that's pretty much what I would be keeping an eye on going into tomorrow, if you're able to break above today's session highs. All right. Moving over to the Qs, slight red day, down 1/3%. Pretty much still looks the same on the daily. If we go over to the lower time frames, the Qs did a better job of going sideways in the duration that the SPY sold off. But the SPY, in my opinion, has a better looking setup right now because it just broke out of this channel. The Qs don't really have a channel that they broke out of, to be honest. I mean, it's more of a triangle that it hasn't broken out of for right now, which looks something like that. All right. So that's really the extent of what the Qs are looking like right now. The Russell was also flat today. This is the one that looks the worst. Technically, to me, this looks the worst. You broke down from a major triangle you've been in for quite some time now. And 172.77, you have some prior support there, which could flip into resistance. So even if we see this 1 hour channel breakout on the SPY, even on the 4 hour, you have this wedge breakout. Even if we see that playing out and, like, let's say it gets you up to like maybe back to around like 430 to retest this prior support as resistance, in turn that can give the Russell a bearish backtest of the triangle it's breaking down from on the daily. So until the Russell reclaims above that triangle trend line / demand line, I'm bearish on it. And that's pretty much it. All right. So there wasn't too much. It was a relatively flat day for the overall markets. I do want to focus more on individual stocks for today. So let's take a look at AMD. This is still on the daily testing a breakout of this wedge. A lot of people are talking about it. This is a very, very key watch. Let's say if it can break above like 104.5, that could probably be a breakout test right over there. And if it does get a breakout, I think 109 should be the next level on the daily time frame. It could take some time. But if we zoom out over here, that's a major top from June of last year. And then there's also some recent resistance from the beginning of September. Okay. Next, I want to take a look at Meta. It's like every day it's just going closer and closer to the end of this triangle. It's still in it, believe it or not. A trade I took today, which did not work out, was Meta puts. I was actually thinking it might break down from this range it was in on the 5 minute. And literally I was in the trade. Pretty much this was when I was in those Meta puts. Oh, get red. So I was in the Meta puts over there. And I ended up taking a very small loss on it. I stopped out like right over here. So I got into Meta puts probably somewhere over here. I stopped out like literally just a little bit higher. The theta did eat up the puts a little bit, but what a good stop loss that was, because those probably lost most of their value after I stopped out because it just went up the rest of the day. So it was a pretty dry day for me day trading. It was literally just this and a couple other names that, you know, I made some money on SPY puts. I forgot what else I took. It was just like whatever. But on the daily, it's still just at the end of this triangle. Give me 1 second, my nose is running. Okay, Nvidia back in the wedge, nothing really to update there. Apple, I've been talking about on the stream, Zeke's been talking about on the Discord, the classic bullish divergence is confirmed and the wedge breakout has commenced. It is now retesting a break above August highs from last year. Very key level to watch. I was trying to get into this earlier today, didn't really give me a great opportunity, and I wasn't really trading in the afternoon. I was in class, but you eventually did get the break above 174, which was prior support over here, and then it flipped into resistance. You broke above it today, so that's why you got that nice move over here. All right, Tesla still has this inverse head and shoulders setup, still looks very interesting heading into tomorrow if we get onto lower time frames on Tesla. One thing to watch over here, what's probably the best way to chart this? Let's do it with 2 lines, all right? Breaking under 256.40, probably not great for Tesla, and then breaking above today's high could continue the rally for Tesla. So put a green line and a red line, 2 interesting levels to watch on Tesla for tomorrow. It created a little bit of a range here today. It's not super well defined, but that is Tesla. AMC, we talked about it last night on stream about the breakout of the triangle. In the morning, it did make a nice move. I think it was up like 6% or something at one point. You can see over here, this was the triangle that AMC broke out of, and then it went all the way up to like almost $9, which is what I was talking about going to last night on stream, but then he got a pretty rough rejection. Came all the way back down to $8.30, but this is something to still keep an eye on, okay? Because $8.25 are these previous highs roughly from the end of September, beginning of October. So it did find a little bit of support there throughout the day. So still on watch, AMC. Sphere, however, gave up this level, 38.72. It was a couple of lows from this week and then a couple of highs from the last couple of weeks. Sphere gave up that level. I don't know if you had peak euphoria on the Sphere in Vegas, but didn't want to talk about that. The next thing to watch now will be this trend line right over here on the daily time frame. Okay. VTN, one of the swings, got stopped out, but I still want to mention that on this one, well, it hit the stop. Still want to mention on this one, there's a potential for classic bullish divergence. It still could be back testing legend. There's still a potential for a double bottom just under or just at $4. It's a historical support. So it did hit the stop, but there's still technically, it's sitting at a very interesting make or break area. All right. And what else happened today? A lot of EVs had a rough day. Carvana down 5%. It gave up these lows from August. I was actually getting into calls at these lows and I made some profits over here back in August, but it just broke that. One of the big ones today was Rivian down 23%, flushed all the way down to the 200-day moving average, and it gave up. I thought it was actually looking pretty technically decent going into today with the bullish engulfing yesterday. Must have been news or something, but dropped 23%, gave up the 200-day, or went down to the 200-day moving average on high volume, and also gave up this $20 historical range. So not great. Pretty rough move there. And then dividend stocks are getting hit. Coca-Cola was down 5% today, which is probably its worst day in a very long time. I don't even know in how long. But 5% on a name like Coca-Cola is not great. I mean, honestly, it was a pretty bearish chart. Look at this channel over here. I know there was like a little bit of roughness to it towards the end, but it eventually rolled over from the channel. And then like, even if we go over to like a 4-hour chart, like this is just not good price action. It's like a head and shoulders over here. And then this was a neckline. It broke it. It flipped the support into resistance, and now it's dumping. Like it was a pretty interesting technical setup. Let me look at something like Berkshire Hathaway, also dropping a lot pretty recently. And pull up this chart. Yes. Pretty much the same exact chart, but really, really large drops in some dividend stocks today. Wanted to note that as well. So that's pretty much the main part of what happened today. Let's see. Heading into tomorrow, AMD, let's go to the 15-minute chart. 103 is a very key level for AMD. The eventual breakout level on the daily for the wedge is at 104.5 level. But this 103 level is also very interesting. Look at all of these highs over here, these highs, and the highs that you put in towards the end of the day. If AMD can get back above 103, it should at least go and test like 104.50, which was that big level I was talking about. So that is one to keep an eye on tomorrow. If it can't break it and instead you start rejecting in the morning and it starts rolling over, then it's got a pretty nice bear flag / rising wedge setup, which could take it back down to here. So we'll just make this simple and we'll just chart out all the levels. These are the key levels to watch for AMD tomorrow. All right, Palantir, 1589 is a key level to keep an eye on. It's also got a trend line. So this 100%, unless it gets halted the whole day for whatever reason, it's a very low probability. 100% pound 2 will either break out or break down by 11:45 a.m. tomorrow morning. 100%, all right, 99% chance, unless it doesn't move. But it's going to either fall under this trend line or break above 1589 by 11:45 a.m. Okay, that is a technical certainty unless a meteor hits the earth. Okay, so that's another one. Nvidia had a good day today off of a wedge breakout. I'm not really seeing much of a technical setup on that one though. Let's see what else we can talk about. Still keeping an eye on this TLT for a potential bounce. I tried to trade it today, but it just didn't really move. So I guess this triangle is something to keep an eye on going into tomorrow morning on the 15-minute. And yeah, probably, you know, my main focus tomorrow is going to be this 15-minute chart on SPY and seeing whether or not that 5-minute cup and handle can play out. So those are the quick updates heading into tomorrow. Just wanted to go on really quick and talk about some of these charts. Have a great weekend, everybody. Want to also quickly mention, going to be ending the premium sale this weekend, 35% off your subscription. There's a bunch of information and amazing analysis going on in there right now, between the live trading, the swings, the options, the mods chat, the weekly watch list, the bullseye bot. There's a lot going on in there right now. This is the time, all right? This is your last chance if you want 35% off your subscription for pure education. There's no BS, you know, trading random things that are just based off of people's fear and greed. It's literally what charts have variables and how can you play those probabilities with risk management. I will teach you the boring style of trading, okay? That's what I'm selling you. I'm selling you the boring way to trade because that's how you make money. It's boring, all right? If you want to be boring with me, then you can get 35% off learning how to trade the boring way with risk management. Doesn't that sound so boring? I don't know. If you're interested, wap.com/championvibe, 35% off. That's not so boring of a sale, I guess. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you all in the Discord tomorrow and on stream next week.